Alright, so now we get to the actual solving portion, okay? So it's part of the part you've all been waiting for, and I'm sorry if I droned on a bit, just wanted to make sure I fully explained what we're going to be going through. Now, for this new portion, we're going to be making the cross, okay? This is the first step in solving the Rubik's Cube, at least in the method I'm teaching you. Now, a lot of people will just give you the cube and say, make this, and I'll show you what it is. And what this is just basically a cross. In other words, we have solved all the edge pieces on the white side, which will be down, by the way. But I'm just for this demonstration I'm showing you. And each piece is in its correct position. So and you can tell that because it lines up on this side, the edge piece that's white here, as a cross, lines up with its white center and with its other side center, which in this case is red, and so on with every single side. So these pieces are in their correct relative positions. This is the goal, at least of the first step. Now, again, a lot of people would just hand this cube to you and say, figure that out, because they think it's really important that you figure it out yourself and that you have, and I definitely agree. It's an important step in your learning process to know how to do the cross. But I also think that it's not, it's not necessary for you to fully and immediately understand how to do the cross in order to be able to solve the Rubik's Cube. And a lot of times you could spend a long time and just keep making mistakes and not achieve your goal, which, again, if, you don't necessarily need to figure this out yourself. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You could just follow the process that I show you, which I'm going to show you, because I think it's not fair for people to not teach you how to do that. So, making the cross. Now, again, there are many ways to do this if I, let's say, mix it up. And we're only looking at the white side here again, and in particular, we're only looking at the white edge pieces. So again, that would be these pieces. Don't worry about the corners around. So let's see. I'm showing you 4 of them. There's 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? Now, there are a lot of different ways to do this. One could do this intuitively, that meaning that they could just kind of undo, as I was describing earlier, what has been done. So like here, there, got those done, and put that in and there. Now I have a cross. And that's how people who do the cube faster do it. That's also extremely difficult, especially when you've never really played with the Rubik's Cube and you don't really understand how to make the cube do things that you want it to do. So instead, you can break this into 2 steps. So the first step can be to get all of the white edge pieces, so again, the ones that have 2 colors, on the yellow side. And I'll explain the reasoning for this later, but this will, be not quite as difficult as putting all the white pieces on the other side. Now I'm sure you're thinking, well, but if I can get them all on this side, couldn't I get them all on that side? And then why do I need to get them on this side? Well, the reason why we're putting them on this side first is because, yeah, you could get all these pieces on this side, but you more than likely would not be able to get them all in their correct positions, meaning they lined up. It's easier to get them all on one side than it is to get them all on one side and lined up. So what we're going to do first is get them all on one side, and then we're going to line them up with where they belong. So you see how this piece right here, this white and red piece, should line up, and it should belong right down here, in between the white and red center, right here and here. So what first we're going to do is we're going to line them up after we've got them up here, and then we're going to bring it down, and now it's where it belongs. I'm going to use that for each time. So looking at this one, see, this is white and orange, so it belongs above the orange and white center. So it belongs right here, directly above, and you just turn it down, doing what would in this case be, I guess, an R2, but it's actually easier if you always put that in your front. So once you've paired it up, put it in your front so it's on the front portion, and then do an F2, because then you won't make the mistake that I will explain in a second, that most people do. And then again, this one's already lined up where it belongs, bring it down. Look at the last one, okay, this one right here. It is a white, so that we know we're working with it because it's a white edge, and it belongs above the blue center. So line up with this blue center, and then bring it down using an F2, okay? Now, I made that look a lot easier than it actually is when you're first doing it. So let's just start from the beginning of that portion, okay? You have a scrambled cube, okay? And you want to get all of your white edge pieces on the yellow side. Now, again, I could just let you do this, but I think that it's better that I explain it, because if not, you may not be able to do it. Or it may take you a long time, and it's hard to become with a method, so it's better that I teach you a method, I think. So, now, a lot of this is just kind of logicking around. Like, I mean, okay, you want to focus on one piece at a time. So, let's say I take this white edge piece, the white and green one. I want to put it up here, anywhere. Now, I think of all of these spots up here as empty slots. Or if there is a white edge piece there, it's a filled slot, so it's not empty. So, I want to fill all the empty slots with these white edge pieces. So, basically, I want to get this one in one of these three. And since I'm starting off, it doesn't really matter where. So, I could just turn it over, put it up. That one's in one of them, okay? And same with this one. This one belongs in one of these two slots now. So I would turn it over, put it up, put it back. That's one way of doing it, okay? And then last one here. Now, you may say, well, that didn't help me very much. Well, what I'm going to do now is give you a little bit of a tip on how I did that. So, let's see. Again, none of them on there. The key to doing this, to getting them where you want them to be, is to put them on the center layer. So the white piece is on the center layer. So this is the center layer, you see? Or the second layer. So that then all you have to do is turn it up once. This one's already there, turn it up once. That one brought another one onto the center layer. So now all I have to do is rotate the top and turn it up. Same here. And this was just lucky. Rotate the top again and turn it up. So again, if the piece were something like this right here, okay? And this one I want to get up here. I can put it above an empty slot, because if you move the side that has an empty slot, then you won't ever affect what you already have done. Put it on the center layer like that, and then all I have to do is rotate the top and turn it up. Find the last piece here. It's right here. It's already on the center layer, okay? Rotate the top so that it's above an empty slot and turn it up. So yeah, that's the first thing you guys need to do. Now, as far as the turning these down, once you've lined them up, you go through and you line each one up. One of the most common mistakes I see people making is if they try and, because you don't necessarily have to put it on your fronts, but most people will, like, instead of doing what would be an R2 here, they do like a double L thingy here, where they bring the white center onto the top. And that's not what we want. Remember, we always want to keep the white down. So I recommend just always putting the piece in your front, the one that you're working with, once it's lined up, and just turn this layer right here, which would be your front, 2 times until it's down on the bottom. 2 times. 2 times, like that, okay? So yeah, that's how you guys are going to make your cross. I hope that was relatively simple. This process is probably going to seem difficult at first, because this is like your introduction to the cube. And this is going to teach you how to learn. And that's why a lot of people try and teach you, or try and make you do it yourself. But I think that with these tips, you're still learning how to do things yourself. You're just not, you're not having to sit there and struggle for hours, because I don't think that's really fun. I mean, a lot of people give up because it's boring. So, yes.